What's up, y'all? This is Dr. Jewyl, and I am so excited to partner with Yes Lord Radio in my new radio show, Ask Dr. Jewyl. I'm a doctor of nursing, a professor, a clinician, and your go-to for all things pertaining to mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness. Look, y'all, just call me America's MHS, Mental Health Specialist. So look, you all, it's time. It's time to get your minds right with Ask Dr. Jewyl. So welcome to today's show, man. Today is power-packed, Lady V. I've got my friend here.
I'm excited.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you're here. And we hope that you had a great mentally healthy week. But if not, in the words of Donnie McClurkin, baby, you can get back up again. And that's what we want for you here at ADJ. Look, life gets complicated, but we want to give you all the tools that we can to help you to maneuver life's twists and turns. Because you know what? The roads of life, Lady V, they ain't always straight.
Not always.
You know, they don't always have new asphalt.
No.
And everybody ain't always driving in their lane.
Of course not.
Okay, and they ain't always driving on the right side.
My God.
Okay, it's full of bumps, potholes, okay? Throw you totally out of alignment, honey. Damage your tires. And when you drive, then the steering wheel starts shaking and you know you need an alignment. Man, this is the way I feel, Lady V. It's a lot of people out here that their minds are totally out of alignment. And if that is you today, I mean, if you are stressed out, if you're not thinking clearly, if you're foggy, if you're extra sensitive, you may be out of alignment. If you're getting frustrated, popping off at people a little bit more than you used to, can't process, your feelings real sensitive, you may be out of alignment. So I've got my girl here today. Look, before I go into anything, how are you doing today?
Dr. Jewyl, I am fantabulous.
I like it. I like it. So look, Lady V, on today's show, we've got a whole lot to talk about. Okay,
all right, let's do
We're going
it.
to talk about the difference between fear and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got an ADJ letter, and I'm going to give you all a tool. We've got to start looking at your mental health genealogy, baby. Yes, I said it. Oh, we're going to get deep today.
I like genealogy.
So today, there are two words, you all, two words that are wreaking havoc on the mental health community and on the mental health and wellness of people, and they are anxiety and fear.
I like that.
Yes, anxiety and fear are wreaking havoc, okay? Now look, when I hear anxiety and fear, especially in the church, there are two scriptures we all know, Lady
Come on,
V,
Dr. Jewyl, come on with that
come
scripture.
to mind,
Come
okay,
on.
when we deal with fear and anxiety. Because, if you went up in the church and you told one of the mothers, you were scared or something, she'd be like, baby, God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. Don't you remember hearing that?
I do remember hearing that. Come up in there talking about you scared.
You scared or something.
Fear.
Oh, they going to come for you. Or then, another scripture, be anxious for nothing.
Nothing.
And so, when you had anxiety and fear, it's almost like, you were not there, man. You better not fear that. You were taught not, those feelings, you need to pull those back. But that doesn't mean that they aren't real feelings.
That's right.
And they are real, emotions, Lady V.
Right.
And so I want to just speak to them because those scriptures are very, very accurate and very relevant. I think that we need to go back and revisit them as a church. Let's talk about anxiety. Let's dig a little bit deeper into this fear and anxiety. So in mental health, I just want you to know anxiety is real. You know why it's real? Anxiety disorders are the most common mental health concern in the United States. Lady V, over 40 million adults in the United States have an anxiety disorder. Did you know it was that many?
No, I didn't know it was that many.
Yes.
Wow.
Almost 19% of all adults have some type of anxiety disorder. Meanwhile, about 7% of children ages 3 to 17 experience issues with anxiety each year.
Wow.
It's really, really bad. Most people develop symptoms of anxiety before the age of 21. And according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, anxiety disorders are a group of related conditions, each having unique symptoms. However, all anxiety disorders have one thing in common, and that is that they have persistent and excessive fear or worry in situations that are not threatening. Okay. I wanted to throw that out there because people want to know, how do I know if I have anxiety? Honey, if you have a persistent and excessive worry and fear about things that have not occurred yet, you may want to get that checked. There may be an issue with anxiety. So let me give an example. So let's talk about this, Lady B. We're going to flesh this out a little bit, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. So let's say that spiders, right?
Right. Hate them.
Hate spiders.
Nasty.
Okay. So a person with an anxiety disorder, not only will they not like spiders,
right,
but they will guide their lives based on avoiding spiders. They will avoid places where they think spiders may be. They may have a physical response, anxiety, start sweating, chest beating. They don't even have to see the spider. They could just think a spider is going to be there. So let's say I have an issue with spiders. And so let's say I'm sitting here today and I'm thinking that, I have to go to the grocery store tomorrow. And when I pick up a potato and see if I want to buy that potato, what if a spider is there? Okay, you are fixating on things that haven't even happened yet.
I understand.
And then you're like, when I get in my car, what if a spider from the tree is in my car? So you are worrying about getting bit by a spider that may get into your car that you haven't seen. And then you worry about when you go to the grocery store, if you pick up a potato, is a spider gonna be in a potato? And then you're nervous about if you go and get a paper bag, if a spider's gonna be in a bag. Do you feel me? You see where I'm going?
So no potato salad tonight.
That's right, Lady V. No potato salad on tonight. But you know what? I mean, there are people really literally that live their lives in a lot of anxiety, and that may be you, okay? You may have excessive worry, excessive concern, and it may just be you saying, well, you know what? I'm just being a good parent, or I'm just, worried. And you really spiritualize, you give reasons as to why, you're concerned. But sometimes you have to watch it. And this is part of being mentally well, you all. You have to watch. Is your thought process a little bit off, okay? Are you worrying excessively? Are you changing your life events? Are you not doing things? Are you not engaging things? Are you maneuvering and manipulating your life based on an anxiety? You're just anxious. You are worrying. You are concerned about something that has not even come to pass. Are you that parent that worried about your child, what was going to happen to them, what they were going to do 2, 3, 5 years from now? Are you the parent that sits there and worries about whether or not your child is 5 years old? You're worrying about whether or not they're going to get accepted into Howard University, whether or not they're going to get accepted into Princeton or Yale. You're worrying about whether or not they're going to get in medical school. Look, excessive worry. We were never called to excessively worry. So the thing is that worry, Lady V, comes from, it has a root. It's rooted in fear. What are you scared of? And so for my worriers out there, what is the fear that's driving the worry? Now, Lady V, you talked about that fight or flight response.
I did.
Yes, and fear is healthy. I mean, I am hopeful that everybody out here, honey, they say the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I'm hoping you fearing something, but I want to bring it on down and make it practical. I'm dealing with the fact that your body, Lady V, my body was wired to handle fear. It has a response to fear because our body was designed to protect us.
Let me ask you something, Lady J.
Yes.
What about past experiences?
Oh, what do you mean?
So does that kind of instigate that fear that you're talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your past experiences could be why you are fearful. Okay. Mm-hmm. And why you, based on that fear, based on that experience, and based on that fear, that drives your anxiety. it kind of connects to one another.
Connects
You
the
know what I
dots.
mean? Absolutely. But fear, I just want people to know when they say, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. Yes, a spirit of fear, I look at that as anxiety. He does not give us anxiety that is persistent, that is chronic, that we are continuously worrying about things. But fear, healthy fear, is the way we were wired. So, for example, if a pit bull is running after you, it's not yours, and it has teeth and it's growling and it's coming for you. Okay? Healthy fear is your body starts kicking into gear saying, I'm in danger. You have a physiological response in your body. Chemicals are sent throughout your body. And as a result, you respond accordingly and you start taking off running. Okay? Everything in your body starts working together to help you to survive, okay? Right. So fear is healthy, but our bodies were never made to stay in a perpetual state of constant fear, okay?
Okay.
We were never made to continuously fear, okay?
Right.
We're fearing everything. I'm fearing walking out the door. I'm fearing a car running into me. I'm fearing. And all of that is because the underlying thing may be I'm just fearful of dying. I'm fearful of what's next in life. I'm fearful of not being able to, what's going to happen to my family if something happens to me. And so a lot of our anxiety comes from fear.
Right.
And that fear is driven by something. So if you have anxiety out there, the question is, as we're dealing with mental health and wellness, what do you fear?
Right. And Dr. J, with COVID, I recognized a lot of people. I mean, they were just scared to go to the grocery store. And even when it was at the height, I could understand that. Yes. However, man, now that we're still in the pandemic, so let's not get it twisted. We're still there, but it's not as heightened. We've gotten medicines and things. What about those people who still at this moment don't even want to come out of the house?
Absolutely. That is a fear. That is a fear gone rogue, which has turned into an anxiety. Okay? Fear, anxiety. What are you fearful of? Are you fearful of dying? Are you fearful of being sick? Are you fearful of being alone in a hospital room? What do you fear? Okay? And that drives the anxiety. So yes, with anxiety, Lady V, this is what you have to do. And this is what I tell people to do all the time. You have to kind of grid out. And when I say that, you just got to put a line, a little X across it, and you have to say what's fact and what's fiction. Okay? And so like when you're dealing with the pandemic, fact, the death rates have declined.
They have.
Okay?
Yes.
Fact, we have a vaccine now.
Yes.
Fact, we have antivirals now that lessen the course of the disease.
Yes.
Fact, we have protective gear now that's readily available.
Yes.
Fact, we don't have a shortage of respirators and we really don't need them. But let me tell you, when all of that fails, fact, you got COVID and you lived.
That's right.
Why are you still having anxiety? You know people that have had COVID 2, 3, 4, and 5 times.
That's right.
And they're still here. Surviving and thriving.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to look at the facts and say, you know what? If my emotions and if my fear is overriding the facts, it's time to get my mind checked, okay? And look, you are not alone. If you are experiencing anxiety, if excessive worry, if excessive fear is consuming your life, look, it's okay not to be okay. I need you to get that checked. If you are worried about the what nexus of life all the time and it is managing you, if it's managing your family, you're afraid, you're walking in fear, you're afraid for your children to go out, you're afraid to do things, you're afraid to accomplish great things in your life. If fear and anxiety is consuming you, you could have a generalized anxiety disorder. And so I need for you to get help for that. And look, medication can work. Therapy is excellent for it. Both of those together, they work great. And look, if you got to put 3 together, Jesus, always first. Medication and therapy, oh my goodness, that's a winning combination.
It's a winning combination.
That's a winning combination. So I feel you. I don't want you to continue another day with that anxiety. Get that thing checked. You are not alone. 40 million people in this country have it. It's real. So look, ask Dr. Jewyl and stay tuned for our next segment. And it's the Ask Dr. Jewyl letter, the ADJ letter. Lady V, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's do it. It's time to get your mind right with Ask Dr. Jewyl.
Get your hands up, wave from side to side. This a ride. If you feel the vibe, then we live.
So what's up, Lady V? Are you ready to read our ADJ letter for today?
I am super ready.
All right,
Are
come
you
on
ready?
with it.
All
Come
right,
on
let's
with
do
it.
this.
All right.
So the letter reads, Dear Dr. Jewyl, how can I retrain my family to do things for themselves instead of always depending on me? I always just do it with no arguments or no complaints, but I am truly weighed down with all the extra things added to my plate. Please help me. Signed, Worked to Death.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Worked to death. I am so sorry. I get it. Look, I absolutely love you for this question. And so many of us do this, out of love. That's what we want to call it, or out of obligation or guilt or whatever it is. You all, sometimes we enable people. Okay.
We do.
We do. We do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We do things for people that they can do for themselves. And nothing is wrong with it until it's totally wrong. You know what I mean, Lady B?
I understand.
Because, we can make people lazy, complacent, unappreciative, trifling, disrespectful of our time, our energy, our finances, our mental and emotional bandwidth. We just totally make them disregard that sometimes when we overdo, okay? And we're underappreciated. So, to make sure that you're not an enabler, okay? You're going to have to check yourself. Okay, like the song said, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
That's what the song says,
All right,
Dr.
so I need you
Jewyl.
to check yourself. Okay, so you know that you may be an enabler if you take the slack for someone else's mismanagement of time, energy, and resources.
Check.
Okay, you know you may be an enabler if you are wearing yourself out doing something that someone can do for themselves, and they don't even stop to say, you know what? You look tired. You look exhausted. I can do this for myself. They let you do it, and they're energized, and you are totally depleted. Okay?
And they don't even say thank you.
Oh my goodness. Don't even talk
OMG.
about that. All right.
Check.
Know that you may be an enabler if they can't do it and it's an inconvenience for them, but they're okay with it being an inconvenience for you.
Sounds like do as I say and not as I do. Like, come on now.
Really? Okay. And then they can't tell you why they don't want to do it or they can't do it. They just maybe don't like to do it. But guess what? You may not like to do it either. So can we at least respect one another and say, you know what, I don't like it, you don't like it, can we divide this thing out? Come on, can we be sensitive? All right. And also, you know that you may be an enabler if you become the trash bin for everyone else's duties or responsibilities. You're being dumped on. You know why you're being dumped on? You're being dumped on because you have no boundaries, honey. No limits,
boundaries.
no boundaries. And we're not talking about Israel either. I'm talking about no limits, no boundaries. You are wide open door, baby. You let things just fly in and fly out. And guess what people love about people with no boundaries? They love you. They love you. You're the sweetest person. You're the favorite auntie. auntie, uncle, favorite parent, because you don't have any boundaries. You let people walk over top of you and they don't mind doing, okay? They will take advantage of you and push you to the limit. Then you wonder why you're frustrated, upset, mentally and emotionally stressed out, why your blood pressure isn't controlled, why your mental and emotional fortitude is depleted. You're wondering why those things are wrong with you because you have no limits, no boundaries. You're around carrying the weight of everybody else. You're making yourself accessible to everybody. You never say no. You always say yes. And then you get mad at everybody for always being the yes person. Maybe this is your year. Like I talked about ministry leaders, Lady V, maybe this is your season to say no. Maybe it's your season to say, you know what? I loved helping you for that season, but right now I matter. Right now I'm stressed. Right now I need to do things to take care of me. All right. And so we need to turn the corner. Part of being mentally healthy and mentally well is being able to stop, pause, and say, you know what? I did it for 25 years, but this is 25 years and 1 minute, honey. And guess what? I'm tired. I'm not doing it anymore. Sometimes you have to, and then people get met, Lady V. Oh,
you got to learn how to pivot, people.
Hold on. You got to learn how to pivot, people. And don't think that people are not going to be upset when you start shutting the door a little bit. You don't have a wide open door. When you start saying no, you know what they're going to say, Lady V?
Oh, you acting funny.
Why you acting funny? Why you being that way? And then they're going to pick something, some kind of blessing, some kind of thing going on in your life. Oh, you think you too good now? You think, look.
Oh, they're going to talk.
They're going to talk. But guess what? They're going to talk whether you're mentally healthy or well or whether you're not. So you know what? Fight for you. Fight for your mental health and wellness, okay? Because guess what? Your mind matters. So you know what, Lady V? I am so glad we got that letter because I think we needed to do a check on our enablers.
Absolutely.
I need you to go back and reevaluate that thing. It's not that you are not the... Thank you so much for your spirit, your heart, to help and to serve and to be all that you are. But you know what? I need for people to be as in tune with you as you are with them. All right?
You have to train people how to treat you.
That's right. Because you know what? You matter. You matter. So look, you all, we are going to our next segment of Ask Dr. Jewyl. And you all, this is going to be a real important thing for you to do. So I need for you, if you have a journal or get out your phones in your notes section, I need you to take some notes on this one, honey, because this is about your mental health genogram, baby. I'm tracing your genealogy of mental health. All right. So
we
stay
got
tuned.
Homework, y'all.
Stay tuned. Homework time at Ask Dr. Jewyl. What's up, y'all? And so I love this segment that I am starting, and this is a segment where I'm going to give you some homework, you all. You're going to get some homework, okay? And so part of you taking charge of your mental health is assessing your mental health history, okay? So what does that mean, Dr. Jewyl? So in family practice, when you come to the clinic, when you come to get your physical, one of the things that we need to ask you is, what's your family history, right? We ask, what did your mama have? What did your daddy have? What your grandparents have? Your siblings? We ask that question because we're looking to see whether or not genetically, all right, whether or not there's some things that you will have as a result of just pure genetics, DNA, all right? And so we ask, if your mother had high blood pressure and your daddy had high blood pressure, then we need to put some things in place to try to prevent you from having high blood pressure. And if you do get it, we catch it and we manage it very effectively. You feel me, Lady B? And so I hope you understand that. Well, I want to turn the corner when we go to mental health, all right? All right, we got to go to mental health. I need for you all to do a mental health family history. We do a genogram, okay, in our field. And basically what we do, we look back over generations and we see, what was the mental health looking like? Okay, with your grandmother and your grandfather. your mother, your father, your uncles, aunts. We trace that family tree down for a few generations, and we look and see if there are any mental illnesses or if there were some things that you noticed. They may not have been labeled back in that day, okay?
This seemed kind of scary, Dr. Jewyl.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. It is necessary because you know what? A lot of mental illness and mental wellness is environmental, okay? A lot of those things that we have, a lot of anxiety, fears, a lot of some of the traits and things that we see that make us not mentally well, sometimes they're passed down from generation to generation. So, for example, this is what I need for you to do. I want to take this a little step further, okay? So this is what I want you to do. If you can just start with your mother, your father, your grandparents, and then your siblings, okay? If you can just do those 3 generations, grandparents, parents, siblings, all right? I want you to write down 4 things I want you to look at, okay? First of all, number 1, did any of them have a diagnosable mental illness? Okay? Number 2, no, let me go back to number 1. All right? Because some of you are like, well, Dr. Jewyl, I don't know anything in my family. Okay, I'm going to throw one out there. Substance use disorder. Any of them drank, okay, alcohol excessively? When they came to the family reunion, they were high on something. You didn't quite know what it was, but it was all the time they were, turned up. Okay, I need for you to mark that, okay, because that's significant. I need for you to mark if you had an aunt, an uncle, if you have a sibling that is kind of sad all the time, okay? If you had a family member that, kind of saw things that weren't there and spoke to people that weren't there. You love them, but you notice that there was an issue. I need you to look and see if there was someone in the family that has attention deficit disorder. They can't focus, okay? They have trouble focusing on things. They have problems paying attention to things. They have problems following commands. If you ask them to do something, they're always forgetting things. I need for you to track your family history to see if that is there, okay? Do you have people that worry all the time? Aunt Mary worried all the time. My mama worries all the time. Uncle Joe worries. I need you to trace that throughout your family. I need for you to do a mental health family history, okay? So if you may have to ask some questions. Lady V, you got something?
Right. No, I was just, I was just going to do a recap real quick because everybody don't write that fast. So you said, let's ask our parents, grandparents, siblings, or check on mental health illnesses, substance abuse, excessive sadness, hallucinations, ADHD or ADD, forgetfulness, or worrying all the time.
Yeah, those are just a few things. You may have family members that are bipolar. You may have family members that are hoarders. You need to go and intentionally, okay, talk to your family members and say, Mama, Aunt Mary has a whole lot of stuff over there. Has she always been like that? Or you may have family members that they just kind of don't ever come to the family events and you wonder why. And they're just like, girl, she just like being by herself. She don't really get down with people. Well, is she really depressed? You need to start going into your family history and doing what we call a genogram. We want to see how this thing flows because you need to know for you what could potentially be in your family DNA. Now look, it doesn't mean that you're going to get what other people have, but I need for you to understand that if we talk about high blood pressure and the fact that it can run in families, a genetic predisposition, why do we have problems with mental health and mental wellness and mental illness running through families? So check that out, you all. Check it out. That's your homework for this week, all right? So look, I want to thank Yes Lord Radio As usual, we love you. We appreciate you. I want you to continue to stay tuned to Ask Dr. Jewyl. If you want to send a letter to us, send it to Ask Dr. Jewyl at askdrjewyl@gmail.com. We are so excited that you tuned in this week. I hope you learned something about anxiety, about fear, being enablers, and I need you to check your genogram. So it's time. It's time to get your mind right, you all. So Lady V, what's our saying? Healthy mind, healthy life.